Normally I'm a quiet confidence guy, but that letter that Ashton Jeanty sent to the NFL, it's just too damn good to not like it. Slick, man. Quote from Ashton Jeanty, "I've taken the long way. I'm done with that way. If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon. It's tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft a guy they can't tackle. Thank you for your time, Ashton Jeanty." For the record, 106 broken tackles a season ago, most in college football. Made 160 some odd guys overall miss, which also led all of college football. So he's got every right to be braggadocious. Whether you agree with it or not, he's already backed it up with his talk or with his play before he even talked. I ain't mad at it. And look, here's the thing. Ashton Jeanty and a lot of these other guys, they're all getting kind of left on the wayside because everybody's talking about what Shedeur is going to do. There's the whole thing about him maybe getting his jersey retired at Colorado and all that other stuff, which, for the record, if anybody's wondering, no, I do and don't agree with it. I think Cordell Stewart might have something to do with that, or say about that. But then again, let's keep it a buck. Let's not forget that Colorado was busted for cheating back in the 90s. Now, it wasn't necessarily Cordell or Cordell's squad, but, let's not forget that whole thing happened. So, kind of, it is what it is, but, I think the attention that Shedeur and Travis Hunter brought to Colorado is undeniable and unmistakable. That was a program that had been reeling for years. What was it, in 15 seasons? They had multiple losing seasons where they didn't even win more than one or two games, and the second year there, granted it's the Big 12, and I think the Big 12 is soft and they don't need to be a power conference, but they did win double-digit games. So it's hard to not say that it shouldn't happen, but, I think something a little bit more miraculous needed to happen, if I'm being honest with you, but it is what it is. I still support Coach Prime. Regardless, the point is Ashton Jeanty is kind of getting left behind with what's going on with everybody else. We're all so busy talking about Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders and what's going on in college football right now with, faking injuries and this play and the NIL money with Nico and him potentially going to UCLA, which we're going to get into here in a little bit, and all this other stuff going on. Look, man, whether anybody likes it or not, Ashton Jeanty could potentially be a number one draft pick. Everybody's too busy talking about Shedeur. Now, look, here's the thing. I will say this. I do think Shedeur's got NFL-level talent. I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, he's Coach Prime's son and yada, yada, and that's how you get in the head. Look, just go look at the numbers because I know a lot of you are stat nerds, which I hate bringing up. And I said it long before Uncle Shay did. I get where a lot of people are coming from. Okay, he holds on to the football for too long. I said it before anybody else did. They needed to really rely on their run game a little bit more. He's got yards in front of him. He's got to learn to just tuck that thing, run, and then go ahead and slide, man. Prime played baseball, I'm sure somewhere, some way. Shedeur knows how to slide. He was doing a lot better at that this season, and it's something that he's going to have to work on in the NFL. But a big part of it is, let's be honest, he's trying to prove that he can stand in that pocket because it's still a thing in the NFL, believe it or not, with them finally adopting a lot of option plays in the NFL, it is still a thing can he sit in the pocket and throw a timing play? It's not everybody's ball game. Some people can learn and develop it. I think the best that has shown that is Lamar Jackson. I don't really think that was in his repertoire at all when he was in college. But now he can sit back, drop back in the pocket, and do a timing play. And I think Shedeur is willing to put in the time. Let's not forget that he's worked with the GOAT, Tom Brady. And what he calls a Tom Brady moment when he's doing his comebacks and making big plays. And that's another thing. It was just brought up here not too long ago by ESPN and several other people. Hey, this is what's happening in the NFL. Remember these guys with their comebacks, Peyton Manning, John Elway. Who do you want in a last-minute situation? Patrick Mahomes Who do you want? Well, right now, I'm telling you, in college football, I would have wanted Shador. I think it's neck and neck between those three, Shador, Travis, and Ashton. Look, that top first three, and look, the NFL running backs, they're making a comeback, and deservedly so. I have said for years that ESPN and all these guys, all they want to do is just see a flashy game of football because they think they can evaluate the quarterback position better than they can anything else. And the reality is a lot of times they even fail at that mark. I love the complete game of football. I love the idea of running backs having a strong position in the NFL and getting the money that they deserve, especially since running backs were a big contributing factor in making the NFL what we see it as today. You got guys like Marshall Faulk who paved the way for the way that the modern day running back is revered in the NFL. And he's asked to do a lot of things. The modern day running back is asked to block, catch passes, line up in the slot, be an actual running back, go outside, be able to go inside. I mean, as a running back, you have to be able to do everything in today's NFL. And you're not financially compensated for it very well at all. You know, back in the day, it used to be on one team, you would have, your fullback, your tailback, your halfback, maybe a scat back in there, somebody that, like a Darren Sproles that you kind of brought in on special situations. You had specific play calls for. I miss having that variety in the NFL. And I think that we can bring that back with Derrick Henry, what he's doing, his strong power game combined with his ability to break away, his ability to get outside if he needs to, but dominate the middle of the football field and control the clock and slow the game down, while simultaneously speeding it up, because if you've got the football for long increments of time, the other team's offense doesn't and their defense is getting tired. I miss having those options. Then you got somebody like a Saquon Barkley who's just a do-it-all back, speedy, fast, inside, outside, great in the receiving game, pretty good blocker. Zeke Elliott was a lot of those things too when he first got drafted in the NFL. I don't think there was a better blocking running back than Zeke Elliott in the NFL the first few years that he was in. Why do you think they lined him up at center in that punt play that didn't work? They gave it a shot, but he was an incredible, and he wasn't afraid either. And I think that's the thing. Ashton Jeanty to me is a lot like Kareem Hunt, if I'm being honest with you. Let's not forget what Kareem Hunt was when he first came into the league. To me, that's who Ashton Jeanty reminds me of, and Kareem Hunt was that do-it-all guy. And I think any team that gets Ashton elevates their squad. Because, man, look, you have a great running game. You have a great running back. Go ask the 49ers and look at what happened with C-Mac. You take so much pressure off of other facets. Let's not forget that their initial winning streak started when C-Mac got there with a guy who's not even playing right now, basically, in the NFL, and Jimmy G. Started out with him 4 straight games in a row they won. And that's with Jimmy G as your quarterback. Just imagine what Ashton Jeanty can do, especially in the correct offense. Now, me personally, I would love to see him with the Chargers because I think Harbaugh would know exactly how to use him. He is phenomenal with running backs. Look at what happened in Michigan. That guy knows what he's doing with running backs. I think Minnesota would probably be a good place for him. Man, I'm just saying. I think Ashton Jeanty, especially in the right situation, but anywhere, can really make a huge difference. And I think it is immediate. And if that's what he wants to do, I mean, he just let it be known. I'm not here to nanny fans and wait it out. And let's be honest, running backs development and quarterbacks development's a little bit different. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with people saying, look, man, I just want to sit you for a year. But if Ashton feels like he's ready now, I mean, go ahead and do it. And there's a lot of teams in the NFL that could use a running back. It's still a hot commodity if you ask me. I'm just saying. Man, I miss the days of Eddie George and Ron Dane and, Campbell and Peyton and Terrell Davis. You just had a slew of running backs in the NFL, man. But the truly great ones are few and far in between. We'll see if that's Ashton Jeanty. Just because he can make a difference doesn't mean he's great. We'll see if he's truly great in the NFL. He was great in college. We'll see if he's great in the NFL. All right, real quick here. Thankfully, college football is cracking down on faking injuries. And I know a lot of people are going to say this whole thing is probably about Oregon, their whole offense. And, people would boo, especially when Chip Kelly was there. And I'm not going to say no to that because, a lot of teams, especially the fans, they thought that the teams were faking injuries to slow them down and all that stuff. And I'm not going to say no to that. But regardless of anything, the straw that broke the camel's back was Lane Kiffin. This man was literally on camera when Ole Miss played against Kentucky, instructing his QB to tell his running back, get down, fake an injury. I mean, that's just so lowbrow. It's Bush League. It's whatever you want to call it. It's grimy football, man. And it shows desperation. If you feel like those are the things that you have to do in order to win football games, then let's keep it a buck. You're not really confident in yourself, and that confidence is going to translate to your players. I've said 101 times that players end up reflecting who their coach is. And Lane Kiffin is exactly the prime example of that. Because eventually, all his football teams become exactly who he is. You don't believe me? Okay, cool. Let's go down the list. Did he win anything at Tennessee? I'll wait. As a head coach? I'll wait. Did he win anything with the Raiders as a head coach? Did he win anything at USC as a head coach? Did he win anything at Ole Miss as a head football coach? So the answer is clearly no. How this dude has a job really is beyond me. And I guess if you're content to win at least 9 games every season, look, a part of me can't be mad at that. As a lifelong Syracuse fan, a part of me can't be mad at that because I'd give anything to win 9 games every year. But we got Fran Brown, and that dude is making a huge difference, and I love what's popping over there. So shout out Fran Brown. But what I am saying to you is, if that's all you want, then the standard's not very high. Lane Kiffin does not have a championship tradition for himself as a coach. And he has survived off of the name Kiffin for a long time. People got so mad at LeBron's kid and called it nepotism. What do you think Kiffin survives off of? It's not because of his incredible win streak. That's for damn sure. It's really honestly long past due. But if I'm being honest, and I would have to point to something that said, man, this is it. I mean, we have to do something. It's definitely that Ole Miss game. I mean, Lane Kiffin literally just, you see him playing his day on camera. Oh, my goodness. And then on top of that, what are you teaching your guys? What are you teaching your guys in terms of life, in terms of football? Man, just lay down. When we don't think we got the right thing to do and our back's against the wall and we got no other choice, let's just lay down real quick. Whatever. It is what it is. I think it's soft more than anything else. SOF, capital T, soft. I want your cornbread. Just saying. Shout out Eddie Murphy. All right, final thing here real quick. Nico supposedly going to UCLA. Yeah, look, Nico's popping. Everybody, here's the thing. This is why a lot of times I don't agree with family members getting involved in the career of athletes, because stuff like this. Now you've really got Nico opened up with the alleged quote that's going around about how it wasn't about money. It was always about the offense and everything. Look, it is what it is. Okay. I've already said how I feel about Nico as the quarterback. Nico as the quarterback is a slightly above average QB in college football. In the NFL, he's probably below average, to be honest with you. I said he's perfectly average, but perfectly average to me is maybe a backup practice squad guy. So I'm not exactly saying right now from what I've seen from Nico that he's going to be all-time anything in the NFL. Maybe a journeyman at best, but I Personally, I think he would wash out in a few years if I'm being honest with you. But in college football, he is slightly above average. And slightly above average a lot of times is just good enough to garnish you a lot of money. Now, if Chip Kelly was still at UCLA, I would say he's probably got a fighting chance to look great. But he's not there anymore, and UCLA's mid, and I don't really think anything else is going to be accomplished over there other than being on the beach and, the money's going to be the money. Regardless of why Nico wanted to leave, and whether anybody agrees with it or not, you could say he quit on his team, but we've had coaches quit on other players how many times, and I've given the Brian Kelly example so many times that honestly I'm nauseated with talking about it, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Go check the archives. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to get into that anymore. I've been there, done that. Umpteen coaches have pulled this move. They've gone to the NFL. They've gone to another school. They've left their guys high and dry, and they've all done it for a few dollars more. And if we're okay with coaches doing it, we should be okay with players doing it. If we're okay with trades happening like what happened in the NBA, look at the disrespect that Luka got from the Dallas Mavericks after everything he's done for that franchise. Don't tell me he wasn't the reason why Kyrie was able to make way over to Dallas. It didn't work out, but it wasn't working out for 101 other reasons, which I'm not going to get into right now. The point of what I'm saying is, look how disrespectful that was on the part of the Mavericks. Look at what happened with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Look at what happened with not just Claret, but look at what happened later on down the road. Quarterback gets suspended by college. He says, all right, forget it. I'm just going to do what Coach Tressel's doing and go to the NFL and live punishment-free. Roger Goodell said, no, you're not jumping over here and living scot-free. You're going to get suspended as well. Before anybody says, well, Tress was suspended. No, he wasn't. It was a self-imposed suspension, which, by the way, was nonsense. He just, had minimal practice time with the team, and he couldn't travel to be there on game day. And it's not like Tress was playing the biggest role with the Colts to begin with at first anyways. And the reality is, it was such a nonsense thing that it really honestly didn't even matter, and it was Tress trying to throw his own guy a bone. But it was the softest attempt that I've ever seen. The players get disrespected so much more. Look at the abuse that they have taken from coaches for years and years, Bobby Knight, etc. All the nonsense that they took. And you're mad when they stick up for themselves a little bit. Nico's wanting to leave is his own choice. Now, I'm not saying that everything isn't risk-reward. I'm not saying that there's great risk, and I'm not saying there's the potential of either no or maximum rewards, because it goes hand in hand. Anytime you make a decision like that in life, but isn't that what college is supposed to be about? A learning experience. It's like, oh boy, out of UNLV and that whole thing going on. I said, look, you learned two really big things. One, always get it in writing, and two, always get it in writing. You learn things as you grow older, and everybody learns at a different way and at a different pace, and I'm not here to judge Nico. He's a young kid making decisions that he thinks are best for him. And why anybody wants to judge him for that and try to control and manipulate his life is beyond me. And I'm so glad that everybody else is perfect and that you've all made the 100% correct choices in life and you've never quit on anything and you're perfect. Good for you. But I, on the other hand, see the situation for what it really is. Maybe things will work out in UCLA. Maybe they won't. I personally don't think that they will. But, hey, you got to do you and you got to take a shot. And honestly, in the big anyways and in the Power 5 conference, it's going to maximize his visibility. It's D1 is D1, am I right? So if he's D1 capable, I don't have a problem with Nico doing what he did. Anybody could look at it the way that they want to. It's just not the way that I see it. Now, there's been rumors, and all it is rumors and hearsay at this point. Nothing has been verified or documented by anybody of the way that he was in practice. If they are true, then Nico has some serious growing up to do. But again, it's all rumors and hearsay. I'm just saying. All right, everybody, I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. And wherever you listen to the podcast, take your device to play the Drew Duncan Sports Show. Everybody stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your night and or day.